When two legends collide, the conversation immediately drifts beyond statistics and records and into something far more emotional. It becomes about aura, about presence, about the way a fighter makes people feel when they step into the ring. This is not just a comparison between Muhammad Ali and Butterbean. It is a collision between two completely different ideas of greatness. Two careers that could not look more different on the surface. It somehow exists within the same shared mythology of combat sports. One represents refinement, intelligence, and an almost supernatural mastery of movement. The other represents excess, raw force, and the kind of chaos that can end a fight in the blink of an eye. To truly understand who stands taller, you have to walk through the moments that defined them. Because boxing has always been a sport where stories are written with sweat, pain, and belief. Long before Muhammad Ali was universally crowned the greatest of all time, he was a young, loud, and undefeated contender stepping into Wembley Stadium on June 18, 1963. Still known to the world as Cassius Clay, Ali treated his bout with Britain's Henry Cooper as a formality. He was already looking ahead to Sonny Liston, already imagining himself as champion. To him, Cooper was supposed to be a warm-up, a man who existed only to fill space on the calendar. But boxing has a way of punishing arrogance. And Cooper came into that ring determined to make Ali earn every second. From the opening exchanges, the atmosphere shifted. Cooper's left hook, heavy and dangerous, found its target early. It snapped Ali's head back and painted his nose red, sending a shock through the crowd and through Ali himself. Wembley erupted, sensing vulnerability where none was supposed to exist. For the first time, Ali wasn't simply dancing untouched. He was being forced to respond, to adapt, to survive. Cooper fed off the moment, pressing forward with the support of an entire stadium behind him, turning what should have been routine into a genuine battle. Ali, ever the showman, dropped his hands and teased, trying to reassert control through bravado. But the danger was real. One clean shot could have rewritten history. Then fate intervened. A brutal cut opened above Cooper's eye, blood flowing freely and obscuring his vision. The momentum evaporated in an instant. Ali, sensing the shift, became sharper and more deliberate, picking his moments and exploiting the damage. By the fifth round, the fight was waved off. Ali won, but not without being reminded that greatness is forged in discomfort. That night did not define him, but it revealed him. He was not invincible, but he was resilient. And that mattered just as much. While Ali's career followed a path toward immortality, Butterbean's story was built on a completely different foundation. He didn't glide into boxing folklore with elegance or technical praise. He barreled into it, loud, unconventional, and impossible to ignore. Butterbean became a symbol of excess, a walking contradiction who looked nothing like a professional fighter yet kept, knocking people out with frightening regularity. On July 31, 1999, he defended his IBA super heavyweight title against Tim Bergen, a modest opponent with little hype attached to his name. There was no slow build, no tactical chess match. Butterbean moved forward and threw with bad intentions, his punches wide but devastating. Bergen tried to stand his ground, but that resolve crumbled under the weight of a crushing right hand. The follow-up shot sealed it. Bergen dropped, confused and broken, and the fight was over almost before it had time to breathe. Butterbean didn't need rounds to tell a story. He needed seconds. His fights were blunt, violent punctuation marks, and audiences loved him for it. As entertaining as Butterbean's destruction was, the sport always seemed to orbit back toward Ali, especially when the stakes were highest. On February 25, 1964, Ali challenged Sonny Liston for the heavyweight championship of the world. The odds were stacked against him. Liston was feared, dominant, and viewed as unstoppable. Ali was young, fast, and relentlessly outspoken. A challenger many believed would be humbled by raw power. Instead, Ali delivered a performance that stunned the world. He danced, circled, and jabbed, refusing to stand still long enough for Liston to impose his strength. He talked, he taunted, and he smiled, dismantling the champion mentally as much as physically. Liston landed hard shots, particularly to the body, But Ali absorbed them and kept moving, his confidence growing with every passing round. When Liston failed to answer the bell for the seventh, Ali became champion. It wasn't just a win. It was a declaration. Boxing had entered a new era. Butterbean never fought for titles that carried global prestige. But within his own domain, he was king. When he faced Ken Woods in 1997, the contrast was almost theatrical. Woods looked like a traditional athlete, sculpted and disciplined. Butterbean looked like a man who ignored every rule of conditioning. Yet when the punches started flying, none of that mattered. One opening, one massive right hand, and Woods collapsed, his head snapping against the canvas as the crowd erupted. It was ugly, brutal, and unforgettable. Butterbean didn't just win fights. He ended them in ways that stuck in the memory. Ali's legacy, though, was never just about winning. It was about moments that transcended the ring. The rematch with Sonny Liston on May 25, 1965, is the perfect example. Ali entered as champion, having embraced his new name and identity. Critics circled, eager to see if the first fight had been a fluke. The answer came in just over 2 minutes. A lightning-fast right hand sent Liston crashing to the canvas, a moment so sudden it barely registered in real time. Ali standing over him, demanding he rise, became one of the most iconic images in sports history. That single frame captured dominance, confidence, and myth all at once. Butterbean had his own rematches and rivalries, including a second bout with Billy Eaton in 1998, after their first fight ended in a draw. Eaton came prepared, sharper and more determined, even scoring moments of success. But Butterbean's pressure was relentless. As the rounds wore on, his power told the story. By the third round, he unleashed a decisive assault that ended the fight and erased any lingering doubt. In his world, Butterbean was unavoidable. So the question remains hanging in the air where debates thrive. Muhammad Ali or Butterbean? Butterbean represents spectacle, the thrill of chaos, the reminder that boxing can be brutally simple. He carved out a unique legacy and became a cult icon through sheer force of personality and power. Ali, however, exists beyond comparison. His skill, his courage, his intelligence, and his cultural impact place him in a category all his own. He wasn't just a champion. He was a symbol, a voice, and a revolution wrapped in boxing gloves.